Today on Sports Nation, we talk about the beatdown in Beantown.
It's game one.
Game
Just
one?
getting started.
I agree.
Pacing himself.
Exactly.
Supreme Court allows sports betting across the country. What does that mean, folks?
Hey, I want to know the two people that voted against it.
I already bet during lunchtime. I was already betting on the game tonight.
Of course, leave it to George. Plus, never get caught slipping like this.
Ooh.
Damn.
Ooh.
That's a
Did
biscuit.
he have a pedicure?
Sports Nation is presented by Toyota.
All right, so welcome to Sports Nation. Carrie Champion, Marcellus Wiley is off, but we have a full house here. Ryan Hollins, welcome. LZ Grinderson and George Sedano. Why'd you do that first?
Because I was just presenting the guests.
Oh, okay.
These are the guests.
Because I thought you were like, look at me.
It did come across that way.
That's
He meant that.
He did, yeah.
He did. Loud tail shirt. You really think I need to say, look at me?
All right.
It's nice, though.
Let's get it started. Things we're going places.
Versace.
Presented by Toyota. Up first, a huge gamble. Today, the Supreme Court struck down a federal law that prohibits sports gambling in a landmark decision that gives states the go-ahead to legalize betting on sports. We now welcome in the one and only Brian Windhorst. We call him Windy. So I get this news today on the alert on my phone. I need you to tell me what this all means, Brian.
Well, Carrie, let's be honest. There's been heavy sports gambling illegally all over this country for a very long time. And it's a multi-billion-dollar market. Nobody actually knows how big it is because it's unregulated. And basically, we got to the point where the states are like, we got to get in on this action. New Jersey led this charge, and now there's 20 states lining up, waiting for today to be able to eventually take bets on the sports leagues. And, Carrie, I know that for decades the sports leagues have taken a higher-than-thou approach, benefiting from the interest of gamblers but pretending like they, is a bad thing. Well, they've dropped the pretense for the most part, particularly the NBA and Major League Baseball, who spent the last 6 months going to every single state they could and saying, not only do we want you to legalize gambling when the court rules, but we would like you to also pay us a royalty for having the right to bet on our games. And so what we have right now is the dropping of pretenses, the forgetting of hypocrisy, and the sports leagues jumping into business with casinos. And I think we're going to see a much more wide open business. It's going to take some time. All these states have to go through the legal steps and have to figure it out. But, Carrie, I believe in a year or so, here at the TD Garden, you may be able to sit in the third row and in the middle of a game take out your smartphone and bet on who's going to take it or make the next shot. Okay. I think that's something that's coming. You can already do it anyway, but it's coming to reality and legal.
All right, quickly, Brian, and one last question. You say major league organizations are now in business with betting organizations. What are the pros and cons of that?
Well, okay, obviously they have to be more diligent on what they call integrity, making sure there's not game fixing and stuff like that. But they've already done that. That's not something that they haven't done before, and they believe that they'll do a good job of it. But we'll have to see. They're going to have to be more diligent, and that's the downside. The upside is more money. That's why they're in business. This money's going to flow to the players. We're going to see new advertising. Where those jersey sponsorships, they're not going to be tire companies and car companies. They're going to be casino companies pretty soon, and that's what we're going to see as difference. And I think it's going to really be a benefit to a lot of industries, including pro sports.
All right, Brian Windhorst, obviously covering Eastern Conference Finals for us. Thank you so much for joining us here on Sports Nation. I bring it out to the fellas because I want to get their opinion on that. LZ, he said cons, game fixing, pros, more money. Your reaction?
I have two concerns. Number one, ugly uniforms.
Okay.
That is a major concern. A lot of ugly uniforms going to be out there now because of all the advertising for casinos. But number two, and more seriously, I don't like this because there's a new avenue now for the rich and powerful to control our politics. And this is what I mean. There are only 20 states so far who have been on board with this. That means there's another 30 that are like, not quite sure yet. That makes the state legislators who will be putting forward laws to make this valid or not will be looking for what? Donations. Governor races be impacted by this, by more rich and powerful people. So when I, as a political reporter, look at this, the first thing I think of is how are the rich owners, friends of owners, going to impact local government to make sure these states that haven't already decided we want to do this become more involved with to doing what they want to do by being influenced by extra money.
But how is that different than everyday life, basically? There's people lobbying, governors and congressmen. And
I understand it, which
so
is why
on
I
and so
said I
forth.
don't like another route.
Right.
This is just another route, which I do not like.
Yeah. I do think it's going to be interesting, Kerry, because I think this state-by-state thing is going to cause a huge headache, right? I think these leagues would prefer it being a federal law, so that way they only have to deal with one person as opposed to going to 50 different states and trying to get this thing sorted out. It's going to be interesting to see how that works itself out. And as Brian said, the holier-than-thou attitude, particularly that the NFL has taken to me, interests me a ton because they're really looking at how much money can we make off of this. If the NBA is going to try to skim off 1% off the top, how much can we get as the most popular sport?
You got to think, as a player, I love that we're finally getting a piece of the pie. And I had a chance to sit down with Adam Silver last summer, and he has such a... Of course it is.
Pick it up. Pick up that name.
He has such a progressive attitude about everything, about the dress code, about gambling. So this just falls right in line. But this is an amazing move. Everybody making money, we might as well make it too.
Can we get any? Or no?
I mean, if you I just told you I bet something at lunch.
Gotcha. Next up, beat down and bean down. The Celtics put a good old-fashioned beating on the Cavs yesterday. Al Horford torched Kevin Love defensively. They held LeBron in check. You saw that. After the game, Tristan Thompson said the Cavs, well, I guess he said they got punked. But LeBron, not concerned at all. Let's listen.
I have zero level of concern at this stage. I didn't go to college, so it's not March Madness. You get better throughout the series. You see ways you can get better throughout the series, but I've been down 0-1, I've been down 0-2. I've been down before in the postseason. But for me, there's never no level of concern, no matter how bad I played tonight with 7 turnovers, how inefficient I was shooting the ball. We have another opportunity to be better as a ball club coming in Tuesday night, and we'll see what happens.
I believe him. What about you?
I don't believe him. He's not at a 0. Look. He's at an 8 because it's going to take everything he has to beat this Boston team. And he can do it. I think about what Giannis did in the first round. He absolutely killed the Celtics at the rim. And LeBron has that capability not just to get to the rim, to draw a double team and kick out. So he can beat this team. It's just going to take a lot out of him physically.
Yeah, I don't think he's concerned because this is just who LeBron James has been in the postseason. He loses game 1s. He typically wins games 2 at a 70% clip. So I'm not concerned at all, especially given how they lost. When you miss 12, 13 wide-open three-pointers, and it's your shooters that you want shooting, missing those shots, that tells me that the defense, while good, didn't stop the Cavs from doing what they wanted to do. They simply just missed open shots.
Yeah, listen, I think that LeBron likes to kind of feel the series out, and you're right. He has lost a ton of game 1s. I believe he's only won about 35% of the game 1s he's played in these scenarios. I remember a couple years ago, they lost to an undermanned Bulls team that Nate Robinson balled out.
Nate Robinson was
game
balling.
1. He did ball out. He balled out in game 1.
Yes.
We like you.
So, yeah, he has had that happen to him. And, yes, I think that, look, it's going to be a great chess match between him and Brad Stevens. The best coach in the game right now versus the best player in the game. And, again, both as cerebral as they come. But, yeah, he shouldn't be worried just yet. And even if they go down 0-2, I wouldn't be all that worried. But this team, Ryan is right about this team. This team is as equipped as anyone to play against this particular Cavs team because LeBron's going to have to put up Herculean-style efforts, kind of like Game 6 of 2012 in Boston against Ryan.
He's playing with house money. Thanks for reminding me, George.
Yeah, why do you
do
that?
A little sore spot.
Well, he's going to do 4 of those, though. I think he's got to do 4 of those. He only had to do it once to you.
Hey, we had that man down. I thought it was over. But, hey, moving on.
That man, you thought that man was
we got it. We don't need the concern meter.
He went the king.
Tommy with the concern meter.
Yeah, he got crowned.
Western Conference Showdown. It's going down tonight in Houston. Game 1 of how the West will be won. Warriors take on the top-seeded Rockets. And a piece on ESPN.com, our Chris Haynes, who was just right here walking it back, saying he was for the Warriors, but maybe not, but kind of. He said, essentially saying this is a challenge. Mike D'Antoni said his team is ready. So, Ryan, you look at this series. We've been waiting for it. Everyone anticipated it. What are you looking for?
Man, this is do or die right now. Because if Houston doesn't get it done, the series is over. They're not going to win in Oracle. And right now, since we're talking about gambling, Golden State's playing with house money. All right, so if they win, if they lose, it's not a big notch on this series right now.
So if Houston doesn't win these first 2 games,
it's a wrap. It's over. It's over.
You agree?
Hey, but you know what? It's going to take everybody.
Okay.
It's going to take everybody. It's going to take all of Houston right now.
Brian's on the record with this bold prediction.
Hey, man.
When they lose the first two, it's a wrap.
Beyonce, the Houston Astros, Jay-Z, Hakeem.
I saw Hakeem on the road the other day.
Capella going to have 40 and 20.
What about Otis Thorpe? Can they bring in Mad Max too? Might as well get in Mad Max. Is Mario Elliott around?
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so Beyonce on the side.
You know, if Beyonce's not playing, then I think Houston will need everyone else to help them.
Okay, everyone else.
But you said the first two games. I'm going to go so far as to say if they don't win game one, it's a wrap.
Okay.
Oh, I tweeted that out today. I said it is the rare must-win game one. If they lose game one, first of all, the teams that win game one, especially at home, I believe that it's 79% rate that they win the series. So if you lose game one at home against this Warriors team, the team you've been talking all this trash, the team that Daryl Morey told Ryan Russillo here on ESPN Radio a few months ago, that all we do is obsess about the Warriors. If you lose game one after all that talk, this series
George,
is a wrap.
let me ask you this. Even if they do win the first two games, what chance are you giving them against the Golden State Warriors?
If the Rockets win those two games, I still like the Warriors.
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
But
it doesn't matter.
It depends on how they win. If Clint Capella is the centerpiece of the defense the way he's been all season, and they have a difficulties finishing at the rim, I feel much more comfortable. But if it's about Steph having an off shooting night and they lose, I'm not comfortable with that
but can Capella actually stay on the floor against that small ball lineup? Because Draymond Green can guard him and they can switch out on pick and rolls. That presents the big problem for them.
Draymond's not worried about them.
No, he's
Remember?
not. No,
not at all.
And he's been on the court for them all season playing small ball. He's actually the perfect small ball big man because of his willingness to protect the
Against Golden State, though, LZ?
He's played against Golden State, man.
but they can go small, too.
He wasn't sitting on the sideline during the
In the playoffs, though, that's the regular season. You know playoff Golden State. Both of you guys do. Can he do this in the playoffs?
Now, here's the difference. If Clint Capella has to sit down, which, look, is a big loss for them, they've played P.J. Tucker at the 5 before. He may not be Draymond Green, but they've had a lot of success with him playing the 5.
Thank you, George. That's all I'm saying.
All three gentlemen agree that the Rockets will lose the series. Coming up next,
Pretty much.
my boy Kobe liked a tweet saying he was more skilled than LeBron, but I don't think he unliked it on purpose, and I really don't like the way this is written. I don't like the way you're going after my boy.
Come on.
This is Sports Nation.
I think you...
Welcome back to Sports Nation, presented by Toyota.
Okay, bad news time for jeers. 3 jeers, that is. 1. We're talking about Tigers. Here we go. Joe Jimenez.
More bad baseball.
Drops the ball, trying to run first.
Lost luggage.
Our baseball expert says what?
Oh, my
LZ?
God.
Oh, my God, that's all you got? On the drop ball?
Terrible.
Thank you.
Come on, man.
Thank
You had 2 jobs.
2 jeers for Christian Hughes. Premier League Soccer. He gives up his own goal.
Doesn't he look the Deadpool guy?
No. I'm not familiar.
Ryan Reynolds?
Oh,
A little bit.
Slightly.
Yeah, say Ryan Reynolds.
I'm sorry.
European.
The Deadpool guy.
The Deadpool guy.
3 jeers for this Chinese league baseball player.
Isn't it?
One.
For real.
He actually had 2 jobs.
Which one?
Oh, my God.
Were. One. Run the catch. Were.
Can't be
All right, so welcome back. We are going to keep it rolling with Twitter trolling. I don't know if about this topic. So over the weekend, Kobe Bryant liked a tweet from another user that essentially said that he was a more skilled player than LeBron James. Kobe later unlocked the tweet. You guys, I'm going to give you a little more context. I know as someone a little older using the Twitter, sometimes my fingers get in the way and I like and then I unlike. I'm like, why do I like that?
So
You got fat thumbs?
Sometimes my nail gets in the way.
Yeah,
okay.
So, George, your take on Kobe liking and unliking said tweet that said he was more skilled than LeBron.
First of all, we know he liked it for a reason. He was looking at stuff that was talking about detail, which is great, and you can watch it on ESPN Plus. So make sure you check out the latest episode on LeBron. With that said, Kobe has to feel a little bit of his feelings that everyone's talking about LeBron and Michael, and nobody's talking about Kobe.
But he's used to that
So
conversation,
I don't blame him.
George.
But you know what? He is right. That tweet is right. LeBron, I think, is the better overall player because he's a physical specimen.
Sure.
But I think Kobe was the more skilled player, particularly in the post and things of that nature.
Do you think
so I don't blame him
all
for
he
liking
wants?
it.
Is that
I don't
all
blame
he
him.
wants to be known as is skilled?
Skilled?
Golfers are skilled.
He wants to be the
Baseball
GOAT.
players are skilled.
But he ain't going to be GOAT. He's going to be LeBron or MJ.
Twitter etiquette. When you guys do something on air and someone tweets you to say you're doing well, instead of retweeting it, you just hit a like.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're the best
But here's-
ESPN analyst. It
here's
doesn't
my
mean that you're
concern.
cuter than me, LZ.
I would never be cuter than you, Gary.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
aspiration.
So,
Here's my concern. When you
Okay.
look at that tweet,
okay.
He didn't at Kobe or at LeBron.
Yeah, he
actually
searched it.
just wrote the name. So it looked as if.
Did he search it?
It looked as if.
Can we put the tweet back up? Let's see the tweet one more time.
Kobe
he didn't add him.
Okay, so
I'm
it was
just
in
saying.
a conversation. It
Look,
was in a conversation log.
I don't
That's
see.
all.
It says 7 others. Why ain't Kobe's name there,
It
though?
ended up in a conversation stream. Kobe might have got
You only got 58 likes? Come on, Kerry.
Let me help you guys out on this.
Your boy don't have fat thumbs like that. 58 likes.
I competed against Kobe for 10 years.
Uh-huh.
How'd you
I
do?
played for Mike. We won a couple games, but this was old Kobe. Farewell tour, Kobe by that time. And this is a sign of greatness. He literally cannot turn it off.
I love it.
He is watching the playoffs right now, and he wants to lace him up and go at Bron right now. All this greatest of all time talk is killing him that he's not in it.
But then why unlike it? That's unlacing it.
Yeah, that's the truth.
It's either you don't lace it up and then roll with it, or like it, just own it.
Because Kobe's old. He ain't a millennial, man. He don't know how to use Twitter. This is all new.
He didn't know how to use the Twitter.
Oh, stop.
Oh, seriously?
He's old.
I mean, for
We
real?
have to accept that.
He's younger than all of us.
I know.
He didn't know how
He
to
ain't
use
younger
the
than
Twitter.
me.
Oh, not you. The rest of us.
He didn't know how to
you
use
better moisturize that.
enough of the hate of money.
Good Lord.
Kobe has
Kobe,
done
just
nothing
like it,
wrong.
man. Own it.
Kobe, you're fine. Flip it real good. I don't know if I like that. Nebraska baseball player Angelo Altavilla hit a home run and took a pause to admire it and then followed it up with this bat flip. His coach took him out. He played 14 years in majors. That's Darren Erstad. He was upset with him, pulled him from the game because he didn't like his antics. LZ, you got a problem with him doing that?
I'm waiting
coach
for the
pulled him?
antics. What are the antics?
Thank you.
It's a bat flip.
That was the antics?
That was the bat flip was the antics. You watched it.
I remember the good old days where antics were going into the stands and beating up people. That's just a simple backflip.
Well, I'm with you, LZ. First of all, give me some Joey Bats. Do we have like Joey Bats out there in the playoff game?
Yes.
You know, that's a bat flip. This is what I'm talking about. This is a bat flip. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Darren Erstad. Look, A-Rod here. Oh, little flip. That's it. Vaya! All right, there you go.
This
Those are
is the
bat
reason why the
flips.
young people are moving away from baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't even flip a bat after a really good hit. You have to like politely set it down because some old head is like, that's not the way the
Well,
game is
Darren
played.
Erstad's not that old. I know he played in the league for that long, but he's not that old. He
played
played for 14 years. Had fun.
Hey, fellas, I got a huge problem. This kid prepared for hours and hours to hit one home run.
Yeah.
And he's allowed one celebration. I can tell you, when I tore down a house and I got a big slam dunk, I'm going to yell, I'm going to scream, oh! Kobe, there you have it. Kobe, where you at?
Okay.
You
Where
dunk
you
on
at,
Kobe?
Kobe?
Did you dunk on Kobe? I
He
don't
said,
think Ronnie Cherry off though.
Kobe's like, oh, go get it, big fella.
Yeah.
Hey!
Primo's presence or whatever that is.
Excuse me, I'd like to talk to producers. How many of these highlights do we have?
Let's run it. Let's keep them going.
Keep 'em going.
Keep them going, Terry. Keep them going.
You said there are only three. There's only three in existence. That's producers. We can only use
That's
two.
the Pasadena Hall of Fame clips right there.
Yes.
Come on.
Hey, but no, seriously, as an athlete, you practice and practice, and when you get that one moment right, you got to be allowed to celebrate, to enjoy
man.
it. Come on, man.
Listen,
this is still sports.
At the end of the day, it's a game.
Yeah.
Okay? Come on. Let's stop with this.
Unless gambling's legal.
Well, there's
It is a
that.
business.
Coming up, which knockout was more devastating? We will discuss it.
Oh, sit down.
Oh, that's disrespectful.
Time out.
Ooh, that's disrespectful.
Tómala.
Oh,
What does that mean?
well, that's not a
Get
You
some.
got to see that foot coming, man.